live from Tennessee, from the east to the west. We are talking Cowboys everything. And you just entered
the Cowboy Zone.
Welcome back to another week of the Cowboy Zone. I'm your host, Marcus Jones, coming to you from Memphis, Tennessee.
And this is Lambo from Cowboys, y'all, out of Johnson City, Tennessee. And we are just ready to move on to the next week and put the last one behind us.
Yeah, Cowboys 2068, Bobby McLean, Jeff. Thank you guys for hopping in here quick, all on YouTube. Oh, what a wild couple of days.
What's up, everybody? What's up, Brian, Jeff, Bobby, Cowboys 2068.
Beard Gang joined us. Brian.
Woo! What a season we're having, and what a season we have left to go.
Yeah.
No more mashed potato. Thank goodness.
Kiddo?
That's a positive. Okay, there's a positive we can take away from last game. We sucked so bad that they finally got rid of Poe.
All right, Jack Mika, thank you. You said you're waiting for tonight. I was expecting this to be a victory Wednesday, but of course, those were not in the cards. The Redskins put a thorough beat down on us. And to be honest, Lambo and I kind of talked about it. Normally when we do a game recap before we move to the next week, we'll list a couple of positives, like 2 or 3, and a couple of negatives. We don't have any positives right now. Thanks, Rosie, for joining us. If you guys want to talk about that game, we'll talk about it. If not, we got the trade deadline coming up on Tuesday, and just kind of checking the temperature of Cowboys Nation. It seems like a lot of talk has been going on trades and cutting and things like that. So we're going to just focus on that a little bit, and then we'll close it out talking about this Eagles game. So if you guys want to talk anything about the Cowboys-Redskins game, feel free to put it in the comments and we'll hit it. But if not, trade deadline is this Tuesday. So we're going to kind of start the show off talking about that. Now, everybody is getting in the comments before we talk about trades. One piece of good news came out, and like they've been saying, mashed potato Dontari Poe has been cut from the team today, as well as Daryl Worley. Lambo, how did you feel about both of those moves?
It increased my mood, that's for sure, because I was dead after the Washington game, man, and just that's like the only positive thing really that happened all week with this regarding the Cowboys. So it boosted my spirits a little bit. Like I still feel like this season is just set up for disaster, but at least maybe that shows that they're finally going to let some of these young guys develop some more and get on the field, get some more snaps. And they were taking up space on this roster anyways. I mean,
definitely,
like we had been saying for weeks, cutting them now is not going to be any loss to us. We'll find somebody off the practice squad that performs as good as they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, we signed Walter Palmore last week. He was on the practice squad. I think between him, what Justin Hamilton showed me, Neville Gallimore, Antoine Woods, I actually feel like this is addition by subtraction.
I do too. This is actually going to make us better than the recent weeks, I think.
Yeah, good point. What's up, Taiwan? Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey, Taiwan.
And also, so what do you feel about Daryl Worley? Now, for me, I felt like they should have gave him a few more opportunities at safety. But if they're going to play him at corner, I guess you got to get rid of him. What do you think?
I think I agree exactly with what you just said. I could see him getting some more chance, or if he would have got some more chances at safety, I think he would have been, a better fit there than corner for sure. And if they plan on just keeping him at corner, like you said, then might as well just go on. But that might be saying something about Reggie Robinson here in the coming weeks.
Yeah,
because so.
Now, speaking of safety and Reggie Robinson, I was laughing at Rose's comment. The kicker got 3 points. He was the MVP. and like you said, Jack, see our second DB draft pick. Speaking of that, it was interesting that Xavier Woods didn't practice today. And when I went back and looked at the game summary, he didn't play as many snaps last week as he normally plays. He normally plays about 60% of the snaps.
Mm-hmm.
It was about 40% last week. And somebody put it in the comments about can't have him getting hurt if someone will want him. It could be trade bait. Do you think there could be talk of Woods getting traded sometime before the 3rd?
Yeah, kinda. I do. I think he actually holds a little bit of trade value. He's been up and down at times, but compared to everybody else has been playing back there,
Yeah.
he's been more solid than everyone but Diggs overall in the secondary, I'd say. Yeah, I think that that's a sneaky one that people aren't really talking about too much. That we could see happen for sure. Xavier Woods is still young, and he showed potential. So I mean, I could see. I don't think we'll get much for him, but it'd be nice to get a 5th for him. That would be great. You think
Yeah, for sure. And for all you guys who've been talking about trade stuff, a 5th is realistic for Xavier Woods. We're not getting 2nd and 3rd round picks for these guys that we're talking about.
No. Yeah, that play where he was running backwards. What was that? What was that? If teams see that play, they might not give us a 7th. I don't know what that was. I watched that a few times on playback, and I was like, "What is he doing?"
Yeah, that didn't make sense to me either, for sure. You guys are putting some good questions in talking about trades. Brian asked, "Do you think they'll trade Gilmore? Trade for Gilmore?" We'll get to that, Brian, because you heard me last night, so you kind of already alluded to what I was saying last night. And Jack Meeker asked, "How many snaps do you think Randy will get?" That actually leads into our next topic. We traded Everson Griffin. We got a conditional 6th round pick. I mean, I don't think the team even cares about the pick. They just want to get the salary cap off the cap and get rid of the player.
Yeah.
But that does open up space for Randy Gregory, Dorrance Armstrong, and Bradley Anae.
Yeah, that's the positive in that entire thing right there.
Yeah. So Lambo, now that we know that spot is essentially open, how do you think the snap breakdown will go between Anae, Gregory, Armstrong? Because it's been pretty much zeros for all of them so far this year. How do you want to go now?
It's crazy. I'm like thinking, like initially I was gonna say Gregory, but I'm like, well, he did just come back this past week, and Anae's been just sitting back there chomping at the bit to get a chance.
He was healthy and active last week.
Yeah. Oh man, I feel like Gregory. I feel like Gregory will get. I mean, I think it's going to be kind of a good share between them, but I think Gregory will see more touches. Yeah, that's kind of like what I had in mind, Brian, the 50, 25, 25.
Who gets the 50, Brian? You thinking Gregory gets the 50?
I'm thinking Gregory with the 50. I just think he's a freak athlete. You need to have him on the field.
Yeah.
His speed off the edge is intense, and I feel like he can make an impact.
I like Jack Meeker's answer. Whoever sets the edge better.
Yeah, that's true too.
Jeff, I won't even respond to this. You know that.
Nope. Nobody want that contract.
Exactly. $4 million for a 3rd string D tackle won't happen. Yeah, and like Lamar said, we can rebuild and we can see some of these young guys as well.
I'm kind of excited to see Ben DiNucci play.
I am too.
I mean, not that I want him to be in the situation to be playing, but I'm more excited than I was with Andy Dalton because he's a young guy. So
and he's more mobile too. I like that.
Yeah, so that could actually improve things going forward for us. I mean, I still don't think we're capable, in my opinion, of winning this division, really.
Yeah.
But I think that we will be more competitive and we'll win a couple more games than we would have, maybe. Just for the fact that I think he will be able to escape the pocket some. But Yeah, Crawford is washed, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Smith slowing down.
All right, Lambo. So I know we can get into the Eagles talking DiNucci. Let's continue this trade talk. So we're at the point now. We've gotten rid of 3 guys. We got roughly essentially a week before the trade deadline. We talked about not Awuzie. We talked about Woods a little bit as possibly being a guy who's traded. What other guys would you consider trading from this team?
I could see Woods. I could see Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Woods, Lewis.
Let me ask you this one. Connor Williams. If you can get a 4th for him, just let him go?
Personally, I would like that, but I'm trying to think about how the depth is looking right now.
I mean,
Looney's coming back, right? Looney's coming back soon.
Back probably next week. You got Connor McGovern here.
Martin's
you got
back.
Adam Redmond, who can play center guard.
If you can get a 4th for him, that's tough. That's tough. I seen that interesting stat on him the other day. I think Big Game James shared it. It's kind of strange because when I watch him on tape, I feel like he's getting bullied and shoved around. But the stat showed that he actually hadn't gave up much.
Right.
So it's weird. Like, sometimes stats can be deceiving, though.
Deceiving, yeah.
Like, he's getting pushed back, and it's causing the quarterback to...
Yeah. Hey, Cole, you're not late. Actually, you're right on time because this is rivalry week. I'm going to get it right one week, I promise. Rivalry week. That means we'll have a special guest coming in later on in the show to give us his game prediction. So be sure to stick with us for the next hour so you can see that game prediction.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
Like, this dude's a clown.
Yeah, and Dennis, Martin is definitely back this week, and we'll talk about that when we get to storylines. Let me ask you one more. LVE. I was on Star Game podcast last night, and Knicks kind of threw out trading LVE. How would you feel about trading LVE for a 4?
I couldn't do it for a 4.
Okay. What would you do it for?
I would do it for... I would do it for a 3rd.
Okay.
Or 3. Would do it for a 3. I know he's been kind of up and down. He's been up and down. He's been pretty average this year when on the field.
Not even that. If you look at his first 3 years, he's only played half the season every year.
Yeah, that's worrisome as well.
Yeah.
I still don't know if I could do it for 4. But
you can't expect it to get any better going forward. His first 3 years, he didn't start the first half of his career because they just wouldn't let Sean Lee go.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second year he got hurt, and then this year he's gotten hurt.
Yeah. I mean, if it was going to be one of them, it would have to be him because unfortunately, it can't be Jalen.
Yeah. Who
I wouldn't mind trading, but we can't do that.
I wish they would let him play tackle, Jeff. They just won't do it. They just won't do it. Now, we talk about guys who could possibly be traded next. And let me give you one more, Lambo. Between Jordan Lewis and Awuzie, and I know we talked about this all offseason. Everybody killed us on it. Which one would you let go? Would you let it go of both, or is there one over the other?
I would like to retain Awuzie, honestly. I think Awuzie is solid. I know he gets burned at times, but I think he is a solid starting cornerback in the NFL. I'm hoping Trayvon Diggs develops, obviously, to be that number 1 cornerback that can shut down most receivers that he faces. Awuzie on the other side is not bad at all. I'd like to retain Awuzie. But it would be Lewis for me if we was going to trade one of the two.
Yeah. Okay.
It would be Lewis.
We said it all offseason. I was the same way. Like, as much as I love Lewis and his heart and his scrappiness, Awuzie's beat him out every year. Whether we say the coaches don't like him or what have you, he's gone through 2 different DB coaches, and he's gone through 3 different DB coaches because his first year we had a different DB coach. Then Rashard came in, and now we have Al Harris. So he's been through 3 different DB coaches, and none of them saw fit to start him over Awuzie or or any of the other corners. That says something to me. So if you can get something for him, he's on the last year of his deal. At least one of them is leaving. You may as well get something for one of them.
Yeah.
Because when they get signed to the next team, they're not going to be signed for enough money to get us a compensatory pick.
Yeah. With Diggs here for 3 more seasons before his rookie deal's up after the season, and Brown locked up for another 2 or
At least
3, 2 or 3.
At least.
Yeah, I would lock Awuzie up or give him like a 3-4 year deal and kind of be set at your top 3 right there. I would trade Lewis if I could, and I would really work on improving the safety play. Is what I'd really like to see a big improvement on the safety.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, those 3 corners, I think they would do just fine, but get us a star safety back there.
Right. All right. So before we move on, because we got a couple other trade topics to talk about, this is something that I've been wanting to cover all day. And if you guys follow me in the different groups, you kind of know where I'm going with this because I've been responding all day to it. I've been hearing all these ridiculous let's trade X player. And I just want to put a couple numbers up there because I know a lot of you guys, I mean, most of you guys that follow us are very knowledgeable fans. But for the people who don't know, just so you get a step ahead of some of the other stuff you see people saying, I'm going to put up a couple players that everybody talks about that there's no way we can trade. So if you guys bear with me for a minute, I'm just going to go through a couple of them. And guys, if you have anybody who you think we should consider trading, put it in the comments and we'll let you know if that's someone we can even trade, and we'll talk about whether or not that's a tradable piece. Okay, so as you guys know, this is my favorite site in the world, spotrack.com. Whenever I have a question about a contract or who's a free agent, what free agents are left, this is where I go. So if you guys want to know what's going on with contracts, this is the site you go to. So first of all, I've been seeing a lot of let's trade D-Law. It's not going to happen. And if you guys ever go to the site, here's kind of what you look at. I don't know, if you guys can see my mouse, you compare the cap hit to the dead cap. Yeah, Cole, I love Spot Rack too. So if you look at the dead cap, this number is if we cut him or trade him, this is how much of a cap hit we take. And that's $53 million. His cap hit for this year is only $9 million. So if we were to cut or trade him, we would get this $9 million back, but we would take a hit of 53. We only have $25 million in cap space. DeMarcus Lawrence is not going anywhere.
Unless the cap hit is the same or higher than the dead cap.
Right. Even then, teams wouldn't do it because you're basically just giving away a player that you're going to pay anyway. You're not gaining anything from cutting them. I mean, even with Dontari Poe, we saved a little bit of money because we don't have to pay him next year, and he had about $500,000 in guarantees in his contract that are voided now. So we're going to save about $500,000 this year with him. All right. So let me go to another one real quick. I see somebody else posted about Jalen. And I love this site because it lists out all the players. You can just easily pull them up.
Yeah, we've got quite a few players that I would love to trade away if only we could.
Yeah, you guys just bear with me for a minute. It's kind of going slow, but I feel like a lot of people need to see this because I know we got a lot of guys in here, and you guys are in the comments. Brian, we'll talk about that in a minute. Let me just go through 3 players really quick, and then we'll talk about some of the trade targets. So the next one is Jalen Smith. Same thing. Jalen has a dead cap of $23 million, and his cap hit this year is only $7 million. So if we were to cut or trade Jalen this year, we would take a cap hit of $16 million. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to cut a guy or trade him, and then you're going to reduce your cap space. You only do that if you're gonna save money. So when you guys see somebody saying let's trade Jalen, let them know it's not gonna happen at all. Now, if you look at 2021, you can see right here the dead cap and the cap hit are almost identical. So if you really just don't like Jalen, you can let him go next year and it'll be a pretty much break even. Or you could do a post June 1 cut and his cap hit would only be $2.5 million and we save about $7 million. I don't want to go into all that. I just want to show the main numbers are if you cut him, it's going to cost you 23. If you cut him or trade him, it's going to save you 7. The numbers don't add up. So next year, Cole, I see you got that question up about what is Jalen looking like for the next year. Next year, his cap hit is $9.8 million. And thank you, Lambo. Well, and his dead cap is 9.4. So if you just straight out cut him or you straight out traded him, it would cost the team, it would actually save the team $500,000 roughly. That's if you do it straight out. But if you did a post June 1 cut, which means after June 1 you cut them, then you get to allocate signing bonus. So you would save 9.8 if you did that, but you would only have to take on these two numbers as your cap hit, which is 1 million and 1.6. So that's 2.6. So you would save 9.4, but you would have a cap dump of 2.6. So you would roughly save about $7 million if you did a post June 1 cut. So if you really don't like Jalen, it's possible to get off his contract for next year, but you're not trading him this year. That's not going to happen. All right, I got 2 more I want to go through real quick, and then we'll move on. And if anybody else has a question about a player, feel free to hit me up. And Lambo, if you see a good comment, be sure to hit it for me.
Yeah.
So we'll go to Zeke Elliott next, and then we'll do one more after this because I know a lot of people ask about Zeke. He's underperforming right now, and they're kind of wondering what can we do with him. And again, my computer's going kind of slow.
Underperforming and overpaid.
Overpaid. Now, the reason these numbers are so high, and I talked about this on the show before and people argue with me about it on social media, we restructured a bunch of contracts. And when you do that, that creates a lot of dead money in the year you restructure them. And I was trying to explain to people, there's no reason for us to restructure contracts now because what happened. We got a bunch of guys we don't like, and now because we restructured their deals, we couldn't cut them this year. So now we're stuck with them for 2 years. So if they really wanted to save money, they could have restructured these contracts next year. So that kind of worried me about why they're doing it. All right, we look at Zeke. You guys see right here, Zeke has a dead cap hit of $35 million. He has a cap hit of 10. So if you cut him or trade him, it's going to cost you $25 million. It would pretty much eat up all the cap space we got. So Zeke's not going anywhere either.
Yeah, so you're losing your starting running back on top of $25 million
exactly
being taken from our space. So that's just not logical at all.
And then if you look at next year, the dead cap doesn't even drop that much. It's 24 and the cap hit is 13.
Yeah, I still don't want to lose all that space just to get rid of a top 10 back.
You still couldn't cut him.
Yeah.
So Zeke's here at least till 2022.
Yeah.
When we could save $6 million.
Yeah, so pretty much those are the 4 guys that like literally everybody is saying they want to be traded, and pretty much it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
No, I mean Jalen's here for a while, or not for a while, but yeah, Jalen
for this year at least.
Jalen, Zeke, D-Law, and
now there's been one more thrown out, and this one is a special scenario. And this is the main reason I want to go through this. I hope you guys are still sticking with me because I feel like you guys that follow us are looking for the knowledge and the truth and unbiased opinions, and that's what we try to give you guys. So the last one I want to talk about is Amari Cooper, and then we'll move on. Now, this one caused a lot of social media debate because somebody made a post that everybody shared that said we could trade Amari Cooper for a first round pick, and then we could get rid of the $20 million guarantee and save a net of 12 or whatever the thing said. I know a lot of you guys saw it, so I don't want to go through it. Let me explain why that can't happen. So as you can see right here, his dead cap hit is $40 million. His cap hit is 12. He's not going anywhere.
Nope.
Now, people talk about this 20 right here, and they say we can just give that away. That's true, but you have to find a trade partner who would take that 20 million. If you trade Coop, that 20 million doesn't leave us unless they are willing to take it. Now, the problem with that is nobody's going to give you a first round pick, then pay Coop the $6 million he is owed right now, and then take on a $20 million cap hit to their cap. If you were to trade Coop, your cap, your draft pick is going to be much less than you want. To give you an example, if you guys remember the Brock Osweiler trade.
Oh, yeah.
Houston and Cleveland, where they transferred like $15 million to Cleveland because they had cap space for it. Mm-hmm. Houston had to give Cleveland the player and a second round pick for them to do the trade.
Yeah, basically just like take all this cap space,
right,
and we'll give you a second rounder. So we'll give you the quarterback and a second rounder. Just take all our cap away.
And with what's going on in 2021, nobody's gonna do that. If we did it, they would either give us a lesser pick or they'd ask for a player and a pick in return. So I just want to talk about those four guys. So Cooper is a possibility, but you're gonna have to find the perfect trade partner because somebody's gonna have to take on their $20 million cap hit. Because if we trade them, the cap hit still stays here because it was guaranteed at signing. That's the catch. If the guarantee was he gets $20 million the third day of the league year, then you can trade the guarantee away. But when it's guaranteed at signing, it's just like signing bonus. All right, Lambo, I'm sorry.
Oh, you good?
I went longer. That really bothered me all week, seeing people post about trading Coop, and then I saw this uninformed tweet circulating around, and I just want to correct that for the people.
Yeah, that's something that definitely need to be been gone over for sure, because that's been pretty much the talk of the week,
right?
In a lot of groups and things like that. So, and I agree with y'all on Gallup. I'm not one of the people that wants to trade him.
And that's a good point, Dennis. Another thing that kind of bothers me: if the player is so good that you can trade him, why would you want to trade him?
Yeah, I'm in favor of extending Gallup at the end of his rookie deal and then trading Coop once the cap hit isn't going to destroy us.
All right, so I hope you guys who stayed with us got something out of that. We're about to move on because we're still talking trades, and now we're going to talk about guys that we can trade for. And who put that up about Quinn Williams now? But O'Brien. So Brian says he would like to get Quinn Williams from the Jets. Are we able to do it? The answer is definitely yes. We are able to do that. And Quinn Williams is only in the second year of his rookie deal. So if we were to trade for him, we still have his rights for 2.5 years on a rookie contract.
Does a second rounder do it, you think?
Now, me personally, I think it would take multiple picks. I think it would take a second and a fourth or a second. Yeah. It might take 2 seconds. Or they might take a second and a third, but you're not getting him for just a second. Even if you go back and look at the Leonard Williams deal, they got a second and a fourth for him. And Quinn Williams is younger, more potential, and a longer rookie deal.
Our second will almost be a late first.
That's true.
Probably. But yeah, I was thinking 2 and 4.
Yeah.
Or 2 and 5. Could pull it off maybe.
I think because Leonard Williams got a 2 and a 4, I think it would have to be more than that. I think it have to be a 2 and a 3 at least. That's me. But Lambo, we do get a compensatory third. Now,
that for Quinn, right?
For Byron, I think. I don't know how the numbers turn out for Quinn yet, because the compensatory picks are based off of the production and the salary of the guy you lost compared to who you replaced them with.
Okay.
So we got to see what Alden Smith does to see how that works out for us. But with Byron Jones, you're comparing him to the guy you signed, which is Daryl Worley, and he's gone. So you're going to get a third for that. to Blue Entertainment, thank you for joining us. And
what's up, bro?
Andre says he would do a second. I think it's going to take a little bit more than that. And if you guys follow Star Game, Knicks has a little inside scoop on the Jets front office, and he said they're kind of pissed off still about the Jamal Adams thing, so they wouldn't give them to us at market value. We're going to have to overpay for them a little bit.
Jets, man, I'm starting to become a Jet hater just because how they doing us on these trade talks.
Yeah, so even if the price for everybody else is a second, it wouldn't be a second for us, basically.
Yeah, Andre, Jalen is one of a few players that we just can't trade.
Yeah. Mendoza says Keanu Neal, would you give a third for him?
Maybe, yeah. I might. I'd think on that. The reason for that, Andre, though, I would go back and watch that beginning part. Marcus went over really everything in depth regarding that, why we can't trade Jalen, Coop, D-Law, and Zeke.
Yeah.
Right now, we would honestly be taking a huge hit out of our cap space just to trade them to someone. So it just logically wouldn't make sense right now, at least this year.
Right now, Cole, we're just talking about potential guys that we could trade for. We want to just check the temperature of the room, see what you guys think about potential guys that we can trade for. We just talked about Quinnen Williams, which we all love. And I think the price would be at least a second and another pick on that one. And Lambo, do you have any guys that you like to trade for, or you feel like we could trade for? I only got one guy, and
Gilmore.
Gilmore, Stephon Gilmore.
Gilmore, definitely. If the Patriots are ready to go ahead and do what they do, they're ready for that rebuild over there.
They killed me on Star Game last night. And guys, be sure to like, be sure to share.
Please.
Let's keep the comments coming in too.
And Andre, going back to Jalen real quick, we would, or at least I think Marcus would too. We would trade Jalen if we could. It's just that we can't. I wasn't saying it like no, we definitely don't want to. Like, I think we want to, or we would.
Yeah.
Trade. I would trade him, but we just can't. Yeah, we just take too much of a hit on the cap space for doing so.
I think you're talking about Ramczyk, the tackle from New Orleans. Joe Jones. I'm almost certain that's who you're talking about. I don't know if I would make that trade, only because we're gonna have Tyron and Collins both come back next year, and you can't trade or cut either one of them either. So you basically be trading him, and then you have 3 tackles, and that would be an expensive ass swing tackle if you kept him. So even though I like Ramczyk, I don't think you can do it. And Cole says he only wants Justin Simmons, and we talked about this on Star Game last night. To me, Justin Simmons is on his franchise tag right now. So for one, if you traded for him, his franchise tag is $14 million. So you would owe him $7 million for the rest of this year on a team that claims they're trying to save cap space. That's a lot for one player. Number 2, he's an unrestricted free agent next year. So are you going to franchise him? Are you going to trade for him and franchise him? Or are you going to make him sign? You can't negotiate with him right now. So your only options are you have to franchise him and take a $17 million cap hit.
And we don't know if we're going to need that franchise for Dak still possibly.
Exactly.
I mean, I hate to say this, but it's starting to look like Dak's going to get another tag.
Exactly.
That's what
I was leading to.
From a GM standpoint, Like from a fan standpoint, give him the deal. From a GM standpoint, let me make sure this ankle's good to go. He can still do that same level he was before. Sadly to say, but I think that could be the direction. But you got to keep the opportunity open just in case the contract talks fall through. You can't waste it on the cornerback and then us risk losing out on Dak.
And if you guys,
that gives Dak all the leverage.
And Cole, they actually won't cost the same. And if you give me a minute, I can show you why. But like I said, like Lumbo just said, Justin Simmons is on the franchise tag right now. If you trade for him, when the season's over, he's an unrestricted free agent. So now you just traded, let's say, a second-round pick for a guy, and you have to basically choose, am I going to franchise him or am I going to let Dak be an unrestricted free agent? You can't franchise both. So are you going to let your franchise quarterback become an unrestricted free agent, or are you going to let the guy who you just traded a second-round pick for become an unrestricted free agent? And I was trying to explain it to the guys on Star Gang last night. If you trade for Simmons, you're pretty much saying Dak is gone because you can't franchise both of them, and you can't negotiate a deal with either one of them right now. You can't have both. One of them's leaving or is going to get an offer.
That having that tag sitting there is all the leverage for the Jones.
Exactly.
And if you put yourself in a position to where you got two guys wanting deals and you can only tag one, they're both going to be driving that price up, and you're probably going to lose one of them.
I mean, not even dragging the price up. They're going to be able to take contract offers from other people, and you have no say-so to stop them.
Yeah.
That's scary. I trade a second-round pick for a guy, and then I can't even franchise him, and I'm going to hope that we have a handshake deal that says, you know what, let us take care of Dak first, and then we'll get you a contract, but just sit tight for a week. That's not how the NFL works, guys. I'm sorry. Guys want that money.
I mean, all I got to do is draft Jarrett Garantano from Tennessee, and we'll be set.
Yeah.
I'm totally kidding. Nobody take that serious. He is freaking horrible. He should not make it to the NFL, even as an undrafted free agent. That won't happen. He's bad.
All right, so for you, Cole, I pulled up Stephon Gilmore because I actually looked at this. If you look at the 2020, it says $13 million, but you have to realize we're halfway through the season right now. So that $13 million is about 6.5 for this year. If you look at next year, he's under contract next year. He's under contract for $7 million next year. All these other numbers, they don't apply to us because that's dead money for the Patriots if they trade him. The beauty to him is if you trade for him, he's not on a franchise tag. So you can actually bring him in and restructure a contract to extend him out 2 or 3 years. So you could reduce that $6.5 million he's owed this year. The other reason I like Stephon Gilmore, go back and look at the history of the New England Patriots. The Patriots do not value draft picks. They traded a Mohamed Sanu for a second-round pick. They traded for him for a second-round pick. They love getting players in trades. So if we're talking about dumping some guys we don't like and picking up a talent, the Patriots are the team we talk to. What's the Chandler Jones? Chandler Jones was arguably the best top 5 pass rusher in the league. They traded him for a second-round pick and a player. A third-round pick and a player, I'm sorry. They traded the best pass rusher in the league, arguably, for a third-round pick and a player. You don't think we could set a deal up to say we'll give you a third-round pick and Jordan Lewis for Stephon Gilmore? That's a great deal to me.
I'll take that quick.
Right. They traded Jacoby Brissett, who was a starting quarterback. They traded him for Philip Dorsett, a number 3 receiver. Straight up. That's the trade they made.
Yeah. And by the way, Dennis, I just want to state we're both huge Dak fans.
Yeah.
We love Dak. But from the standpoint of what the Joneses are thinking, they definitely want that tag in their back pocket just for negotiating tool.
Exactly.
And hopefully he's okay. And then, if he's okay, he'll be all right. He'll get his deal eventually.
Dallas Super Bowl number 6. What's up? And guys, let's keep the comments coming in. We're about to move on to some Eagles talk in a minute. But
I was just joking about that. If you just in case you didn't know, Shane, I was totally joking.
You still throwing past me, Lambeau.
I was totally joking. He better not be starting for the Vols next week.
Andre asked about the Viking safety. I don't know which one you're talking about. I'm assuming you're talking about Harris. If you're talking about Harris, it's the same situation with Simmons. I believe Harris is on a franchise tag right now. So if you brought him here, you can't negotiate with him. He's an unrestricted free agent when the season ends.
How many of his prime years has he got left in him, too? I'm curious.
Yeah, that's true.
Isn't he 30? I believe 31, 30. For some reason, I keep thinking he's 30, 31, something like that.
He's probably up there. Yeah,
I can't remember, but
something's
telling me.
About Njoku. I think Njoku's on injury reserve, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he is. Last time I heard or checked.
Yeah, and another tight end. I talked about other tight ends about 4 weeks ago. I said and you know who I like. Was Ricky Jean-Francois from the Cardinals? Not the Cardinals, the Chiefs. He was with the Cardinals before.
But yeah,
that's the guy I go after. An athletic field stretcher.
After seeing Dalton Schultz this year, I actually feel better about seeing Blake Jarwin and Dalton Schultz next year.
Yeah,
like I'd be completely okay. I mean, well, they're not the pass blocking beasts but
is Schultz a free agent next year? What year did he come out?
Schultz might be. You're right. Blake Jarwin will still be here.
No, he wasn't that draft. He was after that.
Oh, brain fart.
I'm thinking it was 2017, so we may have him for 1 year. Yeah, Ricky Seals-Jones. I don't know why I'm thinking Ricky Jean-Francois, but yeah. If I trade for a tight end, that's the guy I go after. Nobody else. He's young, he's cheap, he's super athletic.
Yeah.
That's my guy. Somebody asked another question before we move on to the Eagles about the draft. Cole, again, great question. Now, Lambo, I don't know if you're a draft guy, but you know I follow college football more than NFL.
I am, but I kind of wait until I wait until the season's over usually, and then I would start digging in, and I just watch a ton of tape as much as I can find.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Cole, I can tell you this right now with 100% confidence. If we pick in the top 6, these are the top 6 players without a question. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields.
Yeah, those two for sure.
Tackle Sewell from Oregon. Jamar Chase from LSU. The linebacker from Notre Dame. And Patrick Surtain. Those are going to be the top 6 picks next year. Now, if we pick top 6, depending on where we are, those are going to be our options. Now, if we go outside the top 6, then we can have another discussion about the receiver from Bama or another corner like Sean Wade. The first round is going to be very heavy in cornerbacks this year. It's only 2 good tackles. There's a quarterback from North Dakota State who's getting a lot of hype. I can't touch a D2 quarterback personally.
Not in the first.
Kid from BYU is getting a lot of hype too. So it might be 4 quarterbacks taken in the first round. Thanks, Cole. 2018 draft.
I don't even know if I'm ready to have this conversation or even bring it up, but
yeah,
Lawrence is not going to be there, so I don't think we're going to be that bad. But if Fields is there, do they entertain that?
It's a good question. I said last night, I know a lot of guys watch this on Star Game. I'm not sold on Ohio State quarterback. When I watch Fields play, I'm not taking anything from him because I know we got some Ohio State fans here to watch the game. I watch a quarterback just doing 7-on-7 pass scale. He gets no rush. His guys are running wide open.
Mm-hmm.
I can't evaluate him to see if he's a good quarterback. He could be awesome. He looks awesome. But until I see a guy have to move in the pocket or have to go to a second read or fit it in a tight window, it's hard for me to evaluate him. I've seen Trevor Lawrence in the national championships against an awesome Alabama team. I've seen him play an awesome Ohio State defense. I've seen him play through adversity. I can say Trevor Lawrence is an all-star, but Justin Fields has had it extremely easy.
Yeah.
And then you go look at Haskins before him looked the exact same way, and look what he's doing.
If I remember
Beat me
correct,
to it.
if I remember correctly, Geno Smith had a situation like that in college. It was pretty easy.
Yeah,
Everything came to him so easy, and then you see what happened in NFL.
yeah.
But I would be looking to trade out of it.
If I were picking at 2, which I think would be the pick to take Justin Fields, I would be working hard to trade that pick. But if I couldn't trade that pick, I'm taking Sewell.
Okay.
Green Jeremiah, thank you for joining us. Yeah, Sewell is the best tackle I've seen in college since Tyron, honestly. And I'm not just saying that because Tyron is on our team. He's the best tackle I've seen since Tyron.
So if you take him, is he your swing tackle next year until Tyron goes down, or are we looking to trade one of them?
What
or can't? Well, I think we could next year.
What I would do, I would move Tyron to right tackle, just like we did with Doug Free when Tyron came.
Yeah.
I would move Collins to left guard, and then
that would be nasty.
Would be our backup guard, or we would trade him and get whatever we can get for him.
I feel like that
would. Waller's back.
I feel like that would be the best case scenario, but I feel like they wouldn't do it for some reason. But man, I loved Collins at guard. Do you remember him pulling and just? God, I mean, I can't remember who it was. His rookie season, I think, when he was at left guard, he pulled and he just he shoved someone, man, and they went like 10 yards down the field, falling. It was beautiful. Yeah. He was just wrecking people, man. I love Collins at guard, man.
Hey, Marlo, y'all brought the questions up. We're just answering them. Yeah, Mendoza, good point. If it's one injury that can end a player's career, it's a hip injury. Going all the way back to Bo Jackson. I mean, basketball players' careers get in on hip injuries every day. That concerns me. Did I miss any other? Mendoza, good point about the mentorship. I mean, to me, that's worth it. You're getting a guy who's been in the fire, all pro, can show him a couple of tricks of the trade. I would love that just for that aspect. And like Jack Meeker said, the Jets ain't winning the game, so we're not getting number 1.
Unless they had us on the schedule. No, that's I feel that bad right now, man.
But here's the thing, though. Atlanta has a worse record than us, and we beat them. So we're not getting past Atlanta either.
Thanks to the whatever you call the helicopter miracle or whatever it was. Yeah. It's fun to think about the draft, especially when you're having such a bad season and you're trying to think of something positive and happy.
Now, once we get past number 6, it's a crapshoot. But I would bet my house that those are the top 6 picks next year, no question. So once we get from 6 to 10, 7 to 10, then we can have a discussion. But if we're picking top 6, if we pick 5, we got to figure out: are we taking the linebacker from? Are we taking a linebacker, or are we gonna trade the pick for somebody who really wants Jamar Chase?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fields is definitely going to Atlanta. Alex, thank you for joining us as usual. I can't see a kid giving up being the first overall pick. I don't care how bad the team is.
Yeah, it'd be hard to give that up. You don't know what's going to happen either, man. He could go and break his leg like Joe Theismann did or something.
Yep.
Like that kind of leg break, something nasty, and then just be screwed out of millions in a career.
All right, one more, Andre. Now, this is my kind of talk right here. I could go an hour about the corners. This corner draft is better than last year's draft. There could easily be 7 corners taken in the first round. And if all 7 of those corners were available this year, outside of CJ Henderson, all of them will probably still go first round. That's how talented they are. Patrick Surtain is the elite corner. Caleb Fairley from Virginia Tech is another elite corner, but he's not playing this year. Then you got Sean Wade from Ohio State. Love him as a player. And then My personal favorite is Paul Adebo from Stanford. I love that kid. He reminds me so much of Byron Jones, but he can get his hands on the ball. And then you got Jace Horn from South Carolina. You got Mukuamu from South Carolina, and you got there's one more corner I'm missing. The kid from Florida State. I'm surprised Mendoza didn't get in the comments about that one. Asante Samuel Jr. You guys know the name. So that's 7 corners right there. At least 5 of them easily are going first round.
Asante Samuel's that old now? Dang.
His son is a junior in college.
Man, the years fly. The years fly. I feel like I was just watching Asante Samuel play not that long ago.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
I would be shocked if at least 5 of those corners don't go early in the first round. They're that talented. But yeah. And I could probably name you about 3 more corners who could be easily second round picks, but those 5.
That question. Oh, man.
Good question, Marlo. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, man. I need to look at the schedule and do a quick look through real quick.
Go ahead real quick. And Mendoza talking about he ball like his dad. He's a playmaker. I give him that. The height scares me because I think he's only 5'9", but he plays like a dog. I give him that. Yeah, talking about Lawrence. You had a chance to look at the schedule yet, Lambo? Because I looked at it last night, so I know where I stand.
All right, let's see.
So I'll say this. Now at safety, there's a kid at Florida State. Mendoza probably knows more about him than I have. He's a tall, I think he's 6'4". He's probably gonna run well in the combine. He's probably gonna be a 4.4 runner. He hasn't played this season yet. I don't know if he's gonna play this season, but height, weight, speed, he reminds me of Justin Simmons. He's gonna go high. There's a kid from Syracuse who I got to watch a couple of games on last year. He's another kid to kind of look for to climb the rankings. And the kid Mukuamu from South Carolina, he's a corner right now. I think he may be better off as a safety just because the corner draft is so deep. So those are my 3 safeties.
I'm thinking between 2 or 3 more wins.
2 or 3 more. So you got
2 or 3 more. So 4 to 5 wins. Okay. I'm between 4 and 5 wins.
Cole has us going with the clean goose egg for the rest of the way. Maybe 3 and 13. Yeah,
that's crazy, guys. That's it? Like coming to this year, I never would have imagined we'd be talking about our record being like that, man.
Joe Jones is added to the We Will Win Sunday category, and we got game predictions coming up in a minute, guys. So that should be interesting because I don't know what our special guest says. I didn't look at it.
This special guest is, you don't want to miss this.
Yeah, for sure. For me, I'm not gonna say my prediction for this game because I'm saving it for the end. But I think we win 2 more games. I think we get our revenge on Thanksgiving. I don't think they canceled Thanksgiving 2 years in a row for me. And also, I think we get the last game against the Giants because I feel like we'll both be just so terrible. The Giants will actually tank. As bad as we look, I don't think the Cowboys will actually tank. I think they'll be bad enough to lose. The Giants will tank because they've done it before.
Which is why I have 3 more wins, probably, okay. I'm thinking. Because that last game, we have them on the schedule, week 17.
We do.
I think they're going to be in full-on tank mode. Our defense will be coming around playing much more solid.
Yeah.
And
thanks for joining.
I can see us winning that as our 3rd game in the remaining.
Now, you're not including this week's game, are you? Because we're saving that one.
I'm not going to say yet.
Okay. Jeff asked the question, will we change our fandom when we took a receiver in the first?
50 burger. 50 burger. I was kidding.
Jamar Chase is special. That's all I say. Jamar Chase is probably Randy Moss 2 inches shorter.
So you draft Jamar Chase and you trade Cooper next year.
I'm not saying I would do it.
I would I would do it.
Jamar Chase is special. That's all I'm saying.
I would do it. Get him on that 5-year contract, rookie, first round contract. He's got 4. We got 4 with Lamb. 4 more with Lamb. We'd have him on 5. Can you imagine that? But
Gallup 2 more. Cooper saved $20 million.
I don't think we pass on a tackle if we pick that high, though. I don't know. It's not a fun, sexy pick at all.
But once you get past 3, there aren't any other good tackles. The kid from Alabama is not a top 10 tackle to me. Somebody might take him. He's a road grader. He's Lyle Collins. That's not a top 10 pick for me.
That's true. That's a good point, Cole.
Yeah, that's true.
See what they do here.
Mendoza talks about Darnell Savage.
My bad.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was trying to take it off.
Yeah. Darnell Savage say it's theirs for their first, second, and Darnell Savage. So Mendoza, who do you think Green Bay will want to go up to 5 for Chase? I guess if you think they're going for Chase, they may do that. Any other? Now, who is Eichenberg, Mendoza? The name sounds familiar. All right, guys. So we've talked a lot of trades. We talked a lot of drafts. We've kind of went across the whole board today. We went a whole hour and haven't talked about anything on the field. That's crazy.
Because it's depressing.
But you guys really did bring it in the comments today. So if you got other comments, oh yeah, that tackle. I like him. I just don't think he's top 10. I know who you're talking about now. You know, I don't when players don't have names on jerseys, I don't know the name. I just know the position. But I know who you're talking about. He's a good tackle. I don't know if he's top 10. And he might better project as a guard in the league. Sean Lee has a possibility to play. We just don't know. We'll have to see if he practices tomorrow. We can probably say yeah, but we really don't know. And Jeff saying Green Bay is going after Will Fuller. I mean, I've heard they're going after Cooper. They're going after Gallup. That remains to be seen.
I know Scantling, Valdez Scantling ain't doing nothing because I've needed him to show up as my wide receiver 3 for like multiple weeks now, and he has been straight ass.
Yep.
Anyway, fantasy ain't even going good in 2020.
Yep, for sure. All right, guys. So we're at 58 minutes. Thank you guys for bearing with us on the trade talk and the free agent talk and the draft talk. I love having you guys in here because you guys are so knowledgeable. You always bringing us good details, always asking good questions. But Mendoza, Notre Dame always has guys on offensive line. So that's if you need offensive lineman, you can always go to Notre Dame and get a quality player. All right, so as much as we've been avoiding this, we are now on to Philadelphia. And to start us off, we'll go with major storylines.
Storylines.
All right, so interesting storyline I saw today. The Eagles currently have the easiest schedule going forward. To me, that pretty much tells me we're not going to catch them, even if we win.
They're gonna win the division probably.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you're thinking about, they're not gonna. I mean, this is kind of a positive for the future type thing. Yeah, it sucks for bragging rights this year, but you got to think that's instantly going to make them pick up near probably the low 20s range.
At least 17. Well,
or high teens, low 20s.
Yep.
They're not going to contend in the playoffs. They'll be one and done, and we will have a great pick, to build on next year. I mean, really, the injuries is what's really killed us this season. And I don't know, man. Like with the defense coming back and people coming back that were injured, if we still had Dak on the field, man, I really would be optimistic we could still make a run.
Yeah.
a serious run, but that's just not the case. Next year he'll be back, and if we have a top pick to add on top of getting Dak and all these other guys back, I mean, we could really make some noise next year. Just like when we were coming off that 4-12 season in 2015,
15.
it's gonna be this. I have that same kind of feeling that we had that year. Roman went down, we went through Castle, all these guys. We finished 4-12. We were like, oh, this all sucks. And then we had a top pick. We made a game changer. We were able to get a game changing player. Everybody came back healthy the following season, and went 13-3. So same kind of thing. At least the same kind of feeling I'm getting. I think we win 4 or 5 games, and then the next year we're a 13-win team.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a good point too. The guys always fought for Garrett, even though we talked about him. The guys always had his back. And like you said, Dennis,
Siri,
thank you for joining us. You're right. The Eagles are just as hurt as we are. I mean, at least we have our receivers. They don't have that. Another storyline. Speaking of injuries, we should get Awuzie back, and we should get Zach Martin back. So add that onto LVE coming back, and we're getting pretty healthy on the defensive side. We haven't seen Awuzie really on the defense. LVE coming back. Randy Gregory's back. There's some stuff that could happen this week. Does that make you feel any optimism, Lambo, knowing that we have Awuzie back along with LVE and Gregory?
Yeah, for sure. I thought Gregory was going to get some good snaps last week, which was proven wrong, but I do think he's going to get some this week. And Griffin's out of there, so he better be getting some more snaps. But I've been waiting for Awuzie. Honestly, I feel like that is going to make a tremendous impact.
Yeah.
I know that he's not like elite talent, or he's a very talented dude, but he's not like elite cornerback. But it's going to make a big difference having Awuzie back. It's definitely going to make a difference having Gregory, if he gets the snaps he should be getting. Rager is back this week. I didn't realize that.
I don't know if Rager's back or not. I'm not 100% sure on that one. I remember reading something, but I don't know if he's 100%.
Hopefully he's not back this week.
Yeah, I know. But he doesn't scare me anyway.
But it would be the game where he randomly blows up because we've been laughing at them about Lamb and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Now, talking about the offensive side, we get Zach Martin back. And Brianna Dix made a tweet earlier that kind of insinuated Martin may be open to playing right tackle this week.
Yeah, and he said I'll be willing to play wherever they want to put me.
He said he'd be willing to play whatever they want to put him. So if you got an offensive line of Martin, McGovern, Tyler B, Connor Williams, and that guy at left tackle, do you feel like we'll do a better job of blocking?
For sure. I do. I think we're going to have an improved offensive line play this week.
Yeah.
I think, in a strange way, I think the quarterback play might actually be a little bit better just because of him being a little more mobile.
Yeah.
And I think it will improve. We won't score 17 points. Stick a fork in off.
Jeffrey might be back too. I mean, you hear reports every week about their receivers, just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think they know either. All right, so we got another storyline. Joe Looney may return. So we're getting some guys back on the offensive line.
We're getting that depth.
Now, we just talked about this with McGovern and Martin, and you see Looney may come back. I just gave you a scenario of a line. Do you think that shuffle sounds about right, or do you think Looney may come in and create some more changes?
I think it sounds about right. I don't see I like Looney, but I think at this point you're thinking about the future.
Yeah.
And you're going to continue to develop these young guys. And Looney, I believe, is on a 1-year deal right now too.
He is.
Still. So I just think it makes more sense to develop these young guys. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't think he's going to come right back into a starting position though.
Yeah, and I'm with Mendoza. Biotis has been playing lights out to me. You can't take him off the field. And speaking of that, would Looney be a possible guy you try to trade for a 5th round pick?
I was just about to say. That that's a possible. That is someone you could possibly get. Make a trade for.
Somebody that needs a center.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
Probably.
think we. You think we get 5th for him? I don't know about 5th. Maybe 6th.
he's a starting center, so I'm
Yeah.
giving him the benefit of the doubt. Somebody that needs a center to plug and play. I would say they would give up a 5th for him.
Yeah.
Brian, I wish they would do that, but they're just too stubborn.
That would make the most sense. That would make the most sense. Bounce Martin out at left tackle so we can actually keep a quarterback upright on the blind side.
Yep.
Looney at left guard, Tyler Biotis at center, McGovern at right guard, and try Connor Williams at right tackle. It makes complete sense, but nothing the team's done this year has made much sense as far as their decision making. So who knows?
Yep, that's true.
Going back real quick, Shane, I think the Vols are in worse shape.
Yeah, I watched that last game.
The Vols are in worse shape for sure. I went to the Texas A&M Vols game here at Neyland Stadium right up the road from me with my son, and it was horrible. It was horrible. They're in worse shape. They're not going to bounce back in the next few years, but the Cowboys will.
For me.
Yeah. It's fun singing Rocky Top. That was the funnest part of being at the game.
Yeah. Cole, this guy, he's not going to play this year. He is in an international development program, so we don't even have a roster spot for him. He's a fully development guy.
Yeah, it's going to take him a while.
Yeah, to be honest, he played professional in Mexico. That's probably the equivalent of high school for us.
It's like Texas high school football talent, probably.
At best, JUCO, but he's not ready for an NFL team.
He came in. Well, I don't know if he got his weight up, but I think when he first came in too, he was like 20 pounds or so undersized of what you would see in a tackle normally.
Yep.
I think it was like 280 something or something like that.
Right.
Playing tackle.
7.
Yeah. When I think about his, he's going to be one of those guys that's as developmental as different position, but same scenario in a way. What's his name? Tight end. Rico. It's another like one of those type of situations. He's going to be one of those guys that's really going to take a lot of development.
Yeah. Mendoza asked if we're going to ever see Chris Westry. I wish we would, because he's tall, he's fast, can't do any worse.
I think it's only been like 3 years, but I feel like or maybe 3 years, 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like he's been on the roster for like 5-6 years, just sitting there on the practice squad.
Yep.
Like, can we just see him real quick? I mean, at this point, just let us see him, see what he's got. Let's see if he can make a play, man.
Yeah. Marlo, we got a couple of weeks before we get to that. And remember, Dez is on the practice squad. Like, if you look on practice squads around the league, you will be shocked the names that you see on practice squad. There are some guys who we all think should be playing that are on practice squads. He may never leave the practice squad, just honestly. We love the name because we know him, but he may not get off the practice squad.
I love Dez so much. He's one of my favorite players ever. Well, when I watch him doing his route running videos and stuff like that, honestly, I feel like a guy of the caliber of Trayvon Diggs shouldn't have really any trouble.
Yeah.
If matched up against a guy like Dez at this point in his career.
I agree.
He just doesn't look like I don't think he's really gonna. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think he's really gonna be the Dez that we remember.
Yeah, he's the only X, but
I hope he does well. I really do.
Can he get off the line? Can he create separation? Can he make accurate cuts? He can't just run straight and throw the ball up and hope you can out jump the guy in front of you. That's the only thing that concerns me about Dez.
Yeah. And Lamar Jackson's not necessarily that pinpoint accurate perfect ball placement type
Yeah,
dude either.
I agree with you, Mendoza. They do have a lot of slot guys. And Dennis Rivera asked about Bradley Anai. Again, we got rid of Griffin for a reason. I think we see him this week. How much is to be seen. And Cole, if he has a good showing in Baltimore, they're going to re-sign him. Like, they're not going to let him leave. Like Mendoza said, Dez is the only true X wide receiver they have. All they have are small slot guys. So if Dez goes there at 6'3", 230,
He'll get a 2-3 year deal.
he'll get easily. They'll let him close his career out there.
But I think you think he'll, after his career is finally done and over, you think he retires the Cowboy?
Oh, yeah, he talks about
He's
Dallas.
got to.
He talks about Dallas every day on his Twitter.
Yeah.
He
got
would love
to
come back here.
When you lead a franchise in touchdowns, you gotta retire there to end your career.
All right, so we got one more storyline, Lambo, and that storyline is, according to the coaches, we're gonna roll with what we got at quarterback. So Ben DiNucci and Garrett Gilbert are your quarterbacks for this Sunday.
And then we got Cooper Rush coming in on his COVID testing and stuff, I think, right?
He won't be able to pass in time to
for next week.
Yeah,
maybe.
next week, but yeah. So that's a good point. So 2 questions. 1, how do you feel about those 2 quarterbacks? And 2, the fact that they signed Cooper Rush and he's not available till next week, what do you think that says about Andy Dalton? Because there's no reason to sign Cooper Rush if you think Andy Dalton's coming back next week.
That's a good point. I didn't think about it that way. I haven't, until you just said that. I haven't really thought about it that way.
I didn't think about it until you brought it up.
Wow. Have you heard any update on Andy Dalton?
He's not clearing concussion protocol this week. I know that. He
got rocked. That is a good point. I mean, obviously, I don't feel great about our quarterbacks this week, but I do have the optimism on the situation because, like we said, DiNucci is more mobile than Andy is. So
DiNucci is small though. That scares me.
Yeah. One good hit, man. I can't really say too much about Gilbert.
Yeah,
but
let's hope we don't have to see him.
Yeah, we're not getting any better. With Elazar. Let's hope we don't have to see him. I feel about as good as I guess we can feel. Like, I'm not expecting to make no kind of playoff runs or anything like that. So I don't know. That is interesting point though that you brought up.
Clayton Thorson is the backup for the Giants, Jeff. Cooper Rush was on their practice squad.
If why bring in Cooper Rush if Andy's going to be back in a week?
Right. Because you can just bring in Dalton and take Gilbert back to practice squad. You're bringing another quarterback in.
I don't know. I mean, I understand why they targeted Rush just because he's familiar with Kellen Moore. So it'd be quick for him to pick things up.
So you think they may be bringing him in as like a teacher to the young guy? It's kind of an odd move when you think about it.
It is. It's kind of got me mind boggled a little bit because I hadn't really thought about it until you said that, and now I'm gonna have to do some thinking on this.
Yeah, so now we gotta watch the next couple of days to see what happens with Cooper Rush, because you never know. He might be the guy that's starting next Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That could be what they're planning on. Could be insurance of DiNucci west of bed. And Dennis Rivera says, why Cooper get Patrick? I don't know who Patrick is. I'm assuming it's Cooper Rush, but let me know who Patrick is, Dennis. All right, and like you said, Gilbert hasn't played many snaps in the pros. And like Mendoza, we just said he could be a teacher for Ben. Lamar. They may just say, you know what? We got Andy killed. last week, we don't want to threaten his career anymore. That's a good point too.
Yeah.
So yeah, you never know. It's an interesting thing though. Cooper Rush being signed. So make sure you guys watch that as well to see what happens with it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're probably right, Fitzpatrick.
Oh. I don't know. They probably know that unless, like, honestly, all right, with the way this team's performing and how banged up we are, unless you're bringing in someone of Dak's talent or better they're not going to save the season.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. So there's really no point in trading for if it's just going to win you 6 games and you still lose to the division.
Exactly.
It's just, and like unless you got a top 5 quarterback right now that can play on this team like the rest of the season, there's no saving it, honestly, in my opinion.
For sure. Let's see what the young guys got. Especially that's Mike McCarthy's guy. Let's see what he can do. And before we move on to key matchups, Lambo, let me ask you this question. So Mike McCarthy pretty much handpicked Ben DiNucci. We all kind of know that. If DiNucci's named the guy, do you think that we may possibly see a shift in Mike McCarthy taking over play calling? Because now he's invested in this quarterback and he wants to develop him his way?
That's a great question. Huh. I could see that. I don't know, man. Like, I could see that. At this point, he's under a lot of heat too.
Yeah.
So, at what point is he gonna step up and do something about it? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
That is a great question.
So
what do you guys think?
Yeah, you beat me too.
What do you guys think?
Does McCarthy take over play calling at some point because DiNucci's his guy and he wants to kind of groom him his way? Let us know what you think in the comments. And Brian immediately said, no more still calling plays. Mendoza said, I think we should all hope so, of course. Andre kind of agrees. He could definitely see it, putting the pieces together. And Cole, right. He's on board with Kellen Moore. But to me, the quarterback changes things because I can understand Kellen Moore being the play caller because he's familiar with Dak. You don't want to rock the boat. But DiNucci is McCarthy's guy. He handpicked him. He's known him since high school. He drafted him.
Yeah, his son is friends with him.
Right. This is a guy that nobody thought we would even remotely look at, and we wasted a draft pick, or we used a draft pick on him. He may be vested enough to say, you know what, I want to groom this kid my way.
I have to disagree on that one, Lamar.
I strongly disagree with that.
I don't think that's happening.
Yep, not happening at all. And that's what I'm thinking too. After the bye, Jack, if they come out in the bye week, make some change and say, you know what, we're going with DiNucci the rest of the season. Maybe McCarthy says, you know what, this is my guy. I don't have any ties to Kellen Moore with this guy. Let me see what he can do with my scheme. Because I feel like next year McCarthy's taking over play calling. I just feel it. He's giving them this year because of the whole Dak thing. And you don't want to rock the boat. But next year, I think it's McCarthy's ship. And that's a good point too, Shane. Jerry Jones can get involved in that one.
He also doesn't want to look stupid for the McCarthy hire either, though. So if like things are just not going right, I don't know. When is it time to put it on your own shoulders and say, okay, I'm the man for the job. I can get this done. Who knows? Right. But, I mean, before Dak went down, we were number 1 in offense.
That's true.
So, I mean, it's not like we weren't getting yards and getting downfield and performing. It was
I think Dak may still be the number 1 quarterback in terms of passing yards.
He was at the end of the last week's games. Yep. He was still number 1, and he hasn't played in a few weeks. Like, it's crazy.
All right, guys, we're at an hour 20 minutes. We're about to move along very quickly to key matchups, and then we can get to our game predictions. We'll save bowl predictions and fantasy favorites for Sunday because we're kind of behind a little bit, and we don't like to go over an hour much. And if we did that, that'll probably take us closer to 2. So now we will go to key matchups.
Key matchups.
All right, so now we got a couple of key matchups I want to go over. First of all, we've talked about offensive lines, and their offensive line is just as decimated as ours. I don't think Lane Johnson's going to play this week. So the only starter they have is the center, Kelsey. I believe they're down to their third string tackle, if I'm not mistaken. And maybe on both sides, that third string. So the first matchup I want to talk about is the new pass rushers we got and D-Law versus their tackles. Lambo, do you think this is something we can take advantage of this week?
Yeah, I do. I'm glad that they're in the same situation as far as the offensive line goes. But I feel like, well, we get Martin back, so we're actually in a better situation, possibly. And I feel like and Gregory, I think we'll get more snaps. I think they're going to produce. I think D-Law is going to show up. I think the interior is going to play better without Poe taking up any snaps and just being a complete waste of space. I think it's going to make a big difference in the game, and I think our running attack is going to be good too. But yeah, I think it does make a big difference.
Carson Wentz is the most sacked quarterback in the league this year. He's on pace for 60 sacks. 60. He's been sacked 28 times so far. I would hope our defensive line can get to him because he's been put on the ground often. Cole, I see you going through all the stuff. I wish we had time today, but we're really behind the 8-ball. Please join us this Sunday at 11 o'clock. We're going straight to bowl predictions and fantasy favorites.
That's after the Washington game. That's exactly how I felt.
Yep.
I was like, I am calling losses for every game the rest of the season. We suck.
All right. Next key matchup, I saw Mendoza he's talking about our DBs versus their receivers. Good point too, William. Wentz has the most interceptions as well. So he's not looking good. But there's no better get-right game than the Cowboys. But on our offensive side, we got Amari Cooper versus the alleged Cooper stopper, big play Slay, who has not lived up to the reputation this year. He's been getting torched left and right. How do you feel about that matchup with Coop versus Slay? Because Coop hasn't had a bad year.
No, he hasn't. And it's interesting, like you said, Slay has always done very good against Cooper, but
very good.
Does not being on the Lions change things? Like, how different is the defense in Philly?
Yeah.
I'm curious to see that. I want to find out if it's still going to be the same situation with Slay on Cooper, or if like being in Philly has changed anything fundamentally for him. But I'm just gonna go based off what we've seen in the past. I think he does slow Cooper down.
So, Mendoza, you think we get 6 sacks? I'm sorry, Lambo.
Oh, 6 sacks sounds good. That sounds good.
Yeah, so
I will say he'll slow Coop down, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, so sticking with our offensive side before we go to our defense versus their offense. We got Zach Martin coming back, and they have one dog on their line, Fletcher Cox. Do you think he has a good game against us inside? Tyler B's playing great. So I feel like Fletcher Cox gonna have his hands full this week with those two guys side by side. And if Martin plays, it'll be the first time they play together for a full game.
Oh man, that's tough. I'm trying not to.
And Jack, that's a good question. And then get it to Coop, and we'll talk about that.
I think Fletcher Cox is gonna wreak havoc.
You think so?
Yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be hard to slow him down, man. Outside of Aaron Donald, he's one of the best here. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna be able to really limit him too much, but we can work around him. We can work around him.
All right, and As soon as I get there, of course, Mendoza beats me to it. Brandon Graham, who's been kind of underperforming over the past couple of years, he has 5 sacks in 6 games. He's only played 6 games. He's got 5 sacks in them. And he'll be playing against Terrence Steele or Zach Martin, depending on who they put on the right tackle. How do you feel about that matchup? Like, let's say it's Terrence Steele. You don't think he can touch him?
I don't feel too good about it.
Okay.
I don't feel too good about Steele. I don't feel too good about Irvin if he's still out at left tackle.
I don't even say his name anymore. He's the left tackle.
Oh.
So yeah,
we're gonna see the 2 worst offensive lines in the league right now, probably.
Hands
both
down,
get destroyed all game long. See who gets destroyed the worst.
Right.
Oh.
So going back, since you said that, going back to our defensive line versus their offensive line, do you think Mendoza said 6 sacks? I almost don't want to do over under, but do you think we can get 6 sacks against this team?
Yeah.
They average about 4 a week, roughly. They give up about 4 a week.
I think so.
Okay.
I think we can. If I had to do a over under though, depending on what the over under is, I'm thinking more like 5-ish. I think we'll get about 5 this game.
And we'll save over under for Sunday.
Yeah.
All right, give me 1 minute. I'm trying to slide something over for the game prediction. It's not cooperating with me. All right, so we also have Travis Fulgham versus Trayvon Diggs. Now, on paper, this looks like it might be the first easy week that Diggs gets in terms of top name receivers, but Fulgham has been low key a monster the past couple weeks. Like he's been getting 100-yard games left and right against some very good corners. He had a hell of a game against Marcus Peters.
Yeah, even against Pittsburgh, who's had a very solid defense this year, he had 13 targets, caught 10 of them for 152 and a touchdown.
Right.
He's had triple digit. Actually, the last 3 weeks he's had double digit targets.
And list those teams out that they played if you got them up.
Week 5 they played Pittsburgh. He had 13 targets. He caught 10 of those for 152 and a touchdown.
Those are wide receiver 1 stats.
Yeah, week 6 they played Ravens. Also very solid. He had 10 targets, caught 6 for 75 and a touchdown. And then last week against the Giants, he did only catch 5 out of 11 targets, but it still went for 73 yards, which was a 14.6 yards per catch average.
So he's been quietly having some very good games, and now Trayvon Diggs gets to go head up with him.
Yeah, 6'2", 215, 25 years old. We'll see.
Yeah, and he's been actually he's been winning a lot with the ball in the air, which I think would be very interesting. He's not very fast. He doesn't run great routes, but he reminds me of like a old Larry Fitzgerald where he's just gonna get the ball when it's 50-50. Now I don't know how that works with Diggs. So that's definitely something we gotta keep our eye on. And then we go to the other side of the ball, whether it's Hightower or Rager or Jeffrey if they come back. That guy versus Awuzie coming off injured reserve. How do you feel about Awuzie in this game? Playing outside.
I think if he does play this week, I think it's because he's ready. And he's still on a contract season. So I think he'll play well. But my hope is that Jeffrey doesn't play. I feel like Alshon Jeffrey always kills us in a key moment. I think if Jeffrey plays, I think he'll make a few great grabs in the game. But overall, I think Awuzie will do pretty decent. I think he'll do just fine.
Okay. Now, the last key matchup I have, everybody's talking about Boston Scott's going to look good in this game, but Miles Sanders isn't necessarily listed as out for this game. He's day to day. They said his injury was 1 to 2 weeks. He missed last week, which was a Thursday night game, which means he got an extra 3 days of rest. So we could be seeing Miles Sanders this week.
We could.
Now, with that being said, Miles Sanders / Boston Scott versus our run defense and our linebackers in the pass game, because they're both out of the backfield receivers. So first of all, I guess since we're on that topic, do you feel like our run defense will be improved now that we got Poe out of the game and off the team?
I feel like it has to. I feel like it can't go anywhere but up from where it was. And we've seen it time and time again, every single time. I mean, any run play, you can just go back and just pick one at random. If Poe's in the game, you're going to see him completely being a giant waste of space where he's at. Yeah. Not getting off blocks, just like you said before, patty caking it, just being shoved around. It has to go up. It has to be better. I'm still worried about literally every running back we'll face for the rest of the season, no matter who they are or what their pedigree is. I feel like they're going to have a good game on us.
The guy from Cleveland hasn't gotten 20 yards total since they played us.
Exactly.
And he got like 178 against us.
I will say Miles Sanders missed practice today.
Yeah.
So but he still definitely has a shot to play.
Thursday is the time to tell.
Yeah.
If he doesn't practice tomorrow, he's not playing. And somebody made a good comment.
If you got them on fantasy, yeah, go ahead and start them. If they're facing us, start them.
Either one of them. Heck, even if Sanders plays, it might still be a good fantasy move to play Cole. To play Scott.
Probably. I say they both perform.
Yeah, and Cole, good point. They should keep him out until after the bye week. And like Lambo just said,
that is a good point.
Our team looks so bad, they may just say, you know what? Everybody's running against them. Why would we even risk our guy? We think Scott can carry the load for us.
I like Corey Clement more than some, and I feel like if Clement is healthy, I haven't checked to see if I think he's all right now. Clement could do work against us, him and Scott, and it makes sense. I think that they're the better position to win this division. So like Cole said, that does make sense if they just rest Sanders. But either way, I think we'll still have our work cut out for us.
And Dennis, thank you for joining us tonight. Be sure to come back at 11 o'clock Central Time for the pregame show. We're not going to be able to do fantasy favorites and bold predictions tonight, but we will definitely pick those up on Sunday, and we hope to have you come in and give us your comments.
Definitely. And come back and fast forward through this. Cowboy Dell's going to give a prediction too at the end of this.
Actually, we're about to do it in probably the next 60 seconds.
Okay.
If you want to check it out, because in terms of key matchups, that's pretty much all I got. And people are talking about Sean Lee. If Sean Lee plays this week, how much do you think he plays? And which linebacker does he take off the field? Do you think he gets 25% of the snaps, 40%?
I think he'll be limited.
Okay.
I think he'll be pretty limited, honestly. Yeah, Bobby, that's how he does it. 25, I'd say about 25 sounds right to me, at least this week.
Who does he take off the field?
Ooh. Nobody? No, or when he does come on the field. Oh, man, I don't know.
We don't play a lot of 4-3. So we only play two linebackers. 3-4 / nickel. So he has to take out some of them guys.
Yeah. LVE probably.
Yeah. We haven't been using the Sam a lot this year, Jack. If you know, we've been doing a lot of 3-4 and nickel concepts. And like Cole said, it has always been LVE. But remember, in the past, LVE played the spot Jalen's playing now. And they switched them this year. So now, is he taking LVE off the field like last year? Or is he taking that spot off the field, which would be Jalen's spot? That's why I asked the question.
Great point.
I think he takes the spot. I think if he's out there, he's gonna pull Jalen off the field. I think he'll pull both of them off, but I think he pulls Jalen off a little bit more.
Then that would clear Jalen's hit up.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't tell you this, but West Coast called me today, and I talked to him a little bit, and you know he's big on Jalen. That's his
Yeah.
guy, and
Yeah.
he even kind of agreed like they're putting too much on Jalen, and he needs to have the load lighten a little bit in terms of just pass coverage and stuff like that.
When he's having to shout that all out, it seems like he gets a little sidetracked in a way. Like just give him less to think about, man. Let him do his thing. Less having less communication.
That's a good point, Cole. With our defensive coordinator, you really don't know what's going to happen.
I do not like Mike Nolan right now at all.
So another question that was posted on Stargame, and we're at an hour 35, so we're going to wrap this thing up. If we get beaten bad the next 2 weeks, we go into a bye week, do you think they say, you know what, the Mike Nolan experiment doesn't work? Let's bring in George Edwards and let him run the defense for the rest of the year? He's an assistant DC anyway.
I will say somebody's gonna have to take a fall at some point. It won't be McCarthy.
Right.
He's gonna have some leeway.
Yeah.
I think that could happen.
Yeah.
And you seen how upset Jerry was in that 105.3 interview not that long ago when he told somebody told Shan to shut up.
Yeah.
So
right, because Nolan really doesn't have any excuses because Awuzie was hurt. That's one guy. LVE missed some games, but you got Jalen there, you got Joe Thomas. Those are above average linebackers. Everybody else has been healthy. You had Thompson, who couldn't get right. You had Everson that couldn't get right. Poe that couldn't get right. The problem was more the players than the players there than the players who are missing. So I don't think you're right. He doesn't have the excuses that Mike McCarthy has. For sure.
Regardless, yeah. I hope they do it regardless too.
Yeah. All right, guys. We're at 1:38. I think we're about to get out of here. But before we do, we're going to give you our game predictions. And you guys, make sure you get in the comments so I can write your game predictions down as well. If this is anything like I saw last night on Star Game Podcast, it's going to get ugly. Lambo, I'm just giving you a warning.
Game prediction.
All right, Lambo. So we're at game prediction time now. We're about to close it out. Make sure you guys put your game predictions in the comments because I keep track of all of them. And if somebody does hit one on the head, we are going to give out a prize. And Mendoza comes in first. I forgot you're the only guy I know who went Cowboys. So I appreciate you being first. Cole gets us getting the brakes beat off of us. And everybody else who's here, we got quite a few people still here. Make sure you get in those comments. Let us know. And while we do that,
41-13.
Before we give ours out, we'll go ahead and move it over to our special guest today so that he can give us his bold prediction. His game prediction. Let me see if I can get this to work. Had a problem with it earlier. All right, so here is our special guest on Rivalry Week, as usual, giving us his game prediction.
Let me tell you what, man. Look, hey, I had to take it back, man. Look, see what I
Can y'all
got
hear it
going on?
now?
Yeah, they can hear.
Look, guys, I had to take it back to the original Cowboy Dale because that's how crazy 2020 is.
That's how crazy this season is, man.
Look, it's crazier than hell. And look, we got Ben Dunici coming in. Who the hell's heard of this guy or the small college he's played at, James Madison? Come on, man. This kind of got those Tony Romo vibes, man. Look, Dak's still the quarterback, and he will be the quarterback. But got some weird optimism about this game, man. And let me tell you why.
Hold on. Somebody asked me to replay it back, so let me start from the beginning.
I was thinking it maybe was. I wasn't sure because it cut out in my headset too, and I was like, "Uh-oh!" But I was like, "I'll wait."
All right, we won't start the whole intro, but we will go back to the beginning of Cowboy Dale giving his prediction.
It's Cowboy Dale. If you couldn't tell, man, I'm crazier than hell. Woo!
I just noticed he had a gun on the side. This is gonna get interesting.
Let me tell you what, man. Look, hey, I had to take it back, man. Look, see what I got going on here, man? Look, guys, I had to take it back to the original Cowboy Dale because that's how crazy 2020 is.
That's how crazy this season is, man.
Look, it's crazier than hell. And look, we got Ben Dunici coming in. Who the hell's heard of this guy or the small college he's played at, James Madison? Come on, man. This kind of got those Tony Romo vibes, man. Look, Dak's still the quarterback, and he will be the quarterback. But got some weird optimism about this game, man. And let me tell you why. This is a mobile quarterback to somewhat you could say he's a little bit mobile. And I think he can actually escape and run out of the pocket. There's not a lot of film on him in the NFL, so I think he can be sneaky good, man. I'm telling you what. And I think he can make plays running and scrambling. It's going to surprise some people. Hey, man, I think the defense is going to show up. And, hey, this is going to be a surprise game, man. I'm telling you what. We're going to pull out a win. 24-21. Cowboys, man. We're going to shoot them birds down, man. Look, man, we're going to be karate chopping while we're kung fu kicking. Hey, boom. Shoot them birds, man. Die Eagles die, baby. Cry Eagles cry, man. That's how Cowboy Dale does it. Ow! Look, man, I'm also optimistic because we got rid of Dontari Poe's dumb, slow, fat ass, man. Let me tell you what, he couldn't stop nothing, man. Maybe he stopped his diet. That's about the only thing he ever stopped. Hey, man, you guys have a good night, man. This is Cowboy Dale from Cowboys Y'all. You need to check out Cowboys Y'all and Bluff City Cowboys and the Cowboys Zone. And donate to the Cash Apps, guys, because it really helps the show. You know what I'm saying? This is Cowboy Dale, man. I'm out, baby. Ow!
All right, and that is Cowboy Dale with his prediction for this week's game.
Oh god, I'm so fat.
I did not know what to expect when I saw that gun. I haven't seen this before, guys. I just want you to know that. I try to watch it fresh from you guys. When I saw that gun, I was like, I pray to God it's not loaded.
It's the crazy part is, bro, he's got the same one as me.
I want to get one free.
Yeah. Crazy, bro.
All right, so you get ready to shoot some Eagles Lambo with your prediction?
Bird game killer.
Check out the video. Hey, Brian, I'm with you. I thought he was gonna shoot it too.
Oh no, no way. Trigger control.
Hey, a quick story before we do game predictions. We did a fantasy draft one year, and like I told you, my fantasy drafts are crazy because my friends are crazy, and Jeff will back me up on this. My friend brought a gun in and was waving it, and it was loaded, and the gun fell on the floor. Jeff almost died, and I'm like,
did it go off?
No, it didn't go off, but just the fact that he had a loaded gun and fell. And when I saw you with when I saw you with your gun right there, and
Yeah.
Cowboy Dale with his gun, I was like, I pray to God this gun doesn't fall.
Yeah, see, the thing is, a lot of people are really irresponsible, and like,
Yeah.
I'll keep it short because I know this is a Cowboy show, but I never, well, I was in the Marine Corps in the infantry, so like, I've handled guns a ton, and I'd never flag anyone, I'd never put the finger on the trigger, and before I let someone even look at my gun, I clear it, look down, make sure everything's good to go. I actually don't ever keep one in the chamber at my house at all, period, because I have kids and stuff like
You never
that.
know
So
when he'll get it. Yeah.
yes, yeah, like, but there's some people, really irresponsible gun owners out there, man. It's scary stuff. People just waving it around. Got one in the chamber. It's crazy.
All right. So before Lambo gives his prediction, Jeff, I haven't gotten your prediction. Rosie, Bobby McLean, I got Williams. Cowboys 26-8. If you're still here, I need to get your prediction. And who else did I miss? Another regular who's usually here. Taiwan, if you're still here, haven't heard from you. And William Coulter, if you're still here, let me get your prediction. We got about 3 to 5 minutes before we get out of here, so be sure to put those in the comments before we go.
Jones Joe 1720 Cowboys.
Jones Joe, yes.
Got a few Cowboys in there, and a lot of big Eagles wins.
Big Eagles wins.
24-21 Dallas. Jeff,
Hey,
that's what Dale said.
Joe, you changed yours. You told me 17-20 Dallas. Okay, you got 9-21.
I just realized Jeff's was the same as Dale's.
I know. Is yours going to be the same as Jeff and Dale's?
Yep.
All right. So you got him at 24-21, Lambo?
No, Jeff, because Dale recorded that video like 5 hours ago. I'm just kidding.
All right. So Lambo,
I got the same.
Let us know why you got that score then. I got the William.
One, I am holding a little bit of bias. I'm not gonna lie. If you said my life was on the line, I'd probably pick Philly. But my life's not on the line, and I hate this team with a passion more than any team in the history of the NFL, and I always will. Ever since Michael Irvin's injury, I will never let it go. It just hurt to even say them winning. So I'm kind of just going to go based off the fact that both of us got some pretty busted O-lines right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully we make more plays against theirs than they do us. Hopefully Wentz does his Wentz things and fumbles the ball, and hopefully we can establish the run game and not have to force Ben to pass too much, and his legs save us a few times, and we pull off a close one. But yeah, I'm being a little optimistic, but yeah, I'm gonna give us a very close win in this one because we can't even tank right.
That's true. We can't do anything right now, including tank the season. For me, I'm 24-23 Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh,
and
that's a close one.
I know. And here's my reason why. Thank you for joining us, Cole. And Lambo, you can take over the comments if you see anything good to put up there. And here's my reason why. For one, I think what the moves we made have been addition by subtraction. If you go back and look, Thompson killed us in passes deep. They got rid of him. Worley was getting us killed on passes as well. They got rid of him. All of our big runs came because either Poe was getting pushed out of the middle or Griffin didn't contain. Both of them are gone. I'm assuming that just pure addition by subtraction, that we give up 10 points less than we normally give up. I'm also assuming Zeke doesn't fumble. If Zeke doesn't fumble, that's another 7 to 10 points that we don't give up.
That's true.
So that takes me from where I would think they are about 38 or 35 to about 23, 25 points. So I feel like they're not going to do as well as some of these other teams we've seen. And Washington only put up 25 points. And to be honest, I think Washington has a better team than the Eagles right now. Their defensive line is better. Their offensive line is better. To be honest, their secondary is better. Their receivers are better. The only advantage you give the Eagles over the Redskins is quarterback. But I feel like we've gotten rid of all of our issues. On top of that, like you said, it's a rivalry game. Guys will step up for that. And I'm banking heavily on the DiNucci factor. Shy White, thank you for joining us. I don't recognize the name, so we appreciate you coming in. Did you put Roses coming up, Lambo?
I was just about to.
Okay. But yeah.
I had to settle for a Dr. Pepper because I'm out. And my wife would kill me if I
made a late night beer run.
If I buy more than 112 pack in a week, she'd be like, really? I try to limit it to just Cowboys games, and then whenever I got left over, I'll have a few on the show, so I don't drink too many. But
so my last point is the DiNucci factor.
Dr. Pepper.
Nobody has tape on DiNucci, and I believe a report came out. They talked to the old coach from James Madison while watching tape. He has a mobility factor that nobody can account for yet. Nobody's seen it. The offensive line is going to be a little bit more improved with Zach Martin playing. So our receivers are far better than their corners. Now, my hope is if we give them more time because of DiNucci's scrambling ability, our receivers are going to make plays. I still think it's going to be close. So I'm putting 24-23. I don't think Zeke gets 100 yards because the Eagles' front four is legit in terms of run defense. But I do feel like we have some advantages we can take in the passing game. And DiNucci's a wild card. And I agree, Jeff. I got some on score. But yeah, I agree, Jeff. I think it's going to be a D-Law sighting this week. Even if Lane Johnson plays, he normally has good games against Lane Johnson. If I'm not mistaken, he had a sack the last 3 times we played the Eagles. And one of them was that strip sack that turned the game around last year. So, yeah. So, it looks like
I agree, Brian, with that statement.
It's pretty split, actually. Last night on the Star game, me and Mendoza were the only ones that picked the Cowboys. Everybody picked Philly, including all 3 hosts. So to see us a little bit more split makes me feel a little bit more hope is in the air for our fan base. All right. Ben is definitely hungry. He's a scrambler. He's a fighter. He has a strong arm. The question is, how's he gonna look in the pocket? And does he avoid tackle? I feel like he's gonna make a play that's like a wild moment. Like one of those I hate to say Tony Romo, but just one of those plays where he scrambles around a lot and then just finds an open guy and hits him deep, and that kind of makes the Eagles take a step back and like, you know what, we can't just tee off on the young guy.
See, now you're on the same page with Dale. With the Romo vibe. There's just gonna be this nobody guy that from some tiny little school that comes in and does some kind of little magical show out there, and everybody's like, "What? Who is this Ben DiNucci?" And wow, look at that play. That was great.
I can see him running for a touchdown just because he's scrambling ability. That's another thing I like about him. If we can by chance get in the red zone, he won't be afraid to use his legs to get in the end zone. Sometimes Dak was a little tentative if it wasn't a called run, and Dalton's just not gonna do it. But
wouldn't it be?
I think he'll do some moves.
This won't happen, or I don't think this would happen. But wouldn't it be absolutely mind-boggling if he just turned out to be one of those like late round gems at quarterback?
Yeah,
that we literally like go to like just make some kind of crazy run with. Then I know that won't happen, but then that would make things really crazy in the offseason.
I don't think they would.
He'd just stick around as a backup for a good couple of years, and you have a good trade-in chip.
Yeah.
is what would probably come down to. But at least you could probably turn his 7th round pick into like a 2nd rounder or 3rd rounder if he pulls off some crazy playoff run.
Now, if we trade for Justin Simmons, then yes, because we only have 1 franchise tag and 2 guys who would be unrestricted free agents. I just got to put that back out there.
Mm-hmm.
But if we don't, Dak's at least getting a franchise tag, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, Cowboys.
The next Tom Brady, or it could be the next like Connor Cook.
I would settle for Minshew.
Yeah.
Minshew's a pretty good comparison. I like the Jeff Garcia comparison, but Minshew is a good comparison for a modern day guy.
Yeah, I can see that.
Plays. He makes some bad plays, but he does enough to keep games competitive.
Yeah.
All right. So we were here almost 2 hours, and the views stayed pretty consistent. So thank all of you guys who stuck with us and gave us your great comments. I know we didn't talk about the football team game, and we kind of started off talking draft and trades and free agent stuff. So we appreciate you guys sticking with us through all of it. And be sure to join us this Sunday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, for our pregame show. We're not going to do bold predictions or fantasy favorites. Tonight, we're going to do a little bit of injury report, and then we're going straight into all the fun stuff on Sunday. So be sure you guys come back and join us. Lambo, got any closing words before we give them their social media?
No, I just I'm gonna say right now that I am being optimistic this week. I told myself after the Washington game I wasn't gonna pick us anymore this entire season, but if we lose this game, that may be what it comes down to for me not picking us anymore this season, except for Week 17 against Giants. I am holding on to that one. But yeah, you guys can find me at Cowboys Y'all on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Patreon, and Cowboys Y'all 88 on Instagram. And come say hey, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube, guys, and we'll see you on Sunday.
All right, Simone Lott, real quick. The kid, we're talking about him. We don't know what he is. He has some potential. He has mobility. He has a strong arm. We're all in wait-and-see mode right now with him. And I'm Marcus Jones. Thanks, Bobby, for joining. You can find me Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, Bluff City Cowboys. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Twitter, I'm Bluff Cowboys. And again, you can catch us this Sunday, 11 o'clock, for our pregame show. Lambo, great show again as usual. Great show from you guys with all of your comments. We appreciate it. We hope you guys come back and join us so we can get your bold predictions for this Sunday. Lambo, any more closing words before we get out of here?
We'll see you guys on Sunday. Stay optimistic, at least for this week. And, have a good weekend, y'all.
All right. And sorry, Jeff, we'll have to do bold predictions with Jeff another time. So be sure that you call in on Sunday and let us know your bold prediction. Guys, have a good night.
See y'all later.